I I hope you don't mind that I took a picture. I like your.
Oh, that's fine.
I used to be in business for myself. I had a carpet cleaning business, but so I was a big Republican. But I mean, Trump's an ass. I mean, be honest.
Terrible. That's terrible.
Trump's an asshole. I mean, he's a buffoon. 1,000 years from now, they're gonna be like, "Wow, we've had a lot of had a lot of good presidents." And back in 2000, whatever it was, I mean, we had one guy who.
And it's sad, the Republicans are endorsing and embracing that nut in his.
I don't know
selfish
I saw
policies.
something pop up today on my iPhone. I got my new iPhone 12. It's got this like with the CNN news, and it said Trump's gold
Oh, he has
757 is sitting at a sleepy airport.
Yeah.
And it says it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it up and running again. So how's he flying on? Is he going around on Spirit Airlines or Frontier Airlines? Because I'm pretty sure they're not letting him fly around on Air Force One anymore. I think Joe Biden's flying around on that one. Hey, I like the Cleveland Browns too. The big Browns. So how'd you get this thing? How much was this?
Marketplace.
What do you mean?
You're talking about the van, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marketplace. I got it on Marketplace.
What is? Oh, you mean how much? How much?
I paid $8,000 for it. And I put another $3,000 into it.
Damn.
And it's for 2001. It runs great. It's a 4x4 diesel. I'm a carpenter, and it's perfect for my stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
But I can't
Now, what
believe-
about this? If somebody, what happens if, like, let's say I found you on whatever? Hey, I need some shelves. You come out to my house. What if I was a huge Trump?
Oh, I know. I don't do residential. I do commercial. So
Okay.
I got someone I work for. So if someone doesn't like me in their lot, oh well. What's fun about that is some people will flip me off and yell at me through their windows. You can't hear them. I have a PA system.
Hello.
You can hear me.
You can tell them what you think of their candidate. I don't know. It does seem like the country is approximately 50% Trumpsters, and I mean, I know that.
Well, that's just the ones that voted.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know which side had more or less people that voted, but
Yeah, I mean, it's just as far as Biden took the popular vote, than Trump, obviously, and then he took the.
But he also got the electoral.
Yes.
Yeah, he also got the electoral college.
Yeah.
Whereas with Hillary and Trump, correct me if I'm wrong, Trump won the electoral college.
Yes.
Hillary got the. Now the Trumpsters, they're going to say, "Oh, well, of course Hillary got the popular vote because she's a Democrat." So you got a lot of people in New York,
Yeah,
a lot of people in California.
Yeah.
They're 99.9% Democrats.
It's just voter suppression is what gets me, and then they're pushing it. I mean, a lot of Republican states have pushed voter suppression again, and it can't happen. That's it.
I don't
It's
know.
ridiculous.
I
That's
mean,
against
Trump
democracy.
did do, from what I was researching, he might be a buffoon, and he is, and he's not, his IQ is not very high. He can kind of read off the teleprompter, but I mean, he in New York, he was a Democrat
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
But he did have a success. And to me, as much as I hate the guy, I've got to admit, I don't know if you heard about the Woolman ice skating rink. From his $100 million perch, it's a two-story penthouse on the top of Trump Tower. He's looking down, and I don't know how you feel about this, but there's a Woolman ice skating rink in Central Park. He's looking down on it. It took him 7 years. It still wasn't making ice. I mean, I've seen the city. I live in Middleburg Heights, near Pearl and Webster, and we've all seen it. There's 6 guys standing around. The one guy's pretending like he's shoveling. The other,
Holding
So
the shovel.
to me, an entrepreneur like yourself, carpenter, work hard. If you had 6 guys working for you, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be standing around all day long holding a shovel, and you're paying them $35 an hour. So Trump is looking down, and he said to Mayor Koch, you could Google this, the Wikipedia. He said, look, give me a crack at it. You've been trying to build an ice skating rink for 7 years. Honest to God, 7 years. And he somehow convinced Mayor Koch, even though they did not get along. He goes, listen, I'll do it for, I think they spent, whatever, 20 million or 50, I don't know the number. And Trump says, I'll do it for 3 million. I'll do it at cost. I'll get it done in 3 months or 3 to 6 months. And he did.
No, I mean,
He might be an
that's his
idiot.
MO. It may have looked from the outside like he's doing it for everybody else. He was doing it for him because he didn't like seeing it.
Well, no, not just that. He also did it for a selfish reason.
That's
Now, the people in but I don't think you know what the selfish reason is.
Oh.
The people in New York, they loved him for it because now they had a beautiful ice skating rink there, and he got it done in like 3 to 6 months. He promised to do it at cost, which he did, but here's what he got out of it. at every little quote unquote milestone. The simple, the pouring of the cement, the doing of this, the blah blah blah. He had celebrities. It was a huge PR event, and the city was so embarrassed. And the county.
But that's it.
They stopped going.
He does his own selfish reasons.
Well, now that you got to admit, he's good. He's good at, you know, he might be saying a lot of stupid stuff, and maybe sometimes he says something that's correct. Because you know what they say, even a stopped clock is correct, twice a day. Yep. But nobody can say he does not have a big mouth. He does have a big mouth. What comes out of that mouth is debatable. But in the case of if he's never done any other good thing in his entire life, well, there's a good Dollar General I thought I'd point out over there. But anyway, if he's never done another good thing in his life, I will say that should be on his tombstone. Here lies a person who, if he did nothing else of useful value, he did get the Woolman ice skating, which they allowed him to call it the Trump, or they put his name on it. Now, recently I heard they took his name off of it and something, but then they had, I don't know, they put his name back. I don't know if his name's on it or not on it, but he did that. How he did it, maybe he is a little bit good at rolling up his sleeves and cutting through the regulations and kind of questioning things. Like, to me, I don't know anything about carpeting. I know what a 2x4 is. I know what a hammer is. I probably hammered a nail into a 2x4 at least once in my life, or a couple of times, perhaps, putting up some bookshelves or I don't know what. But to me, if carpenters have always been doing things a certain way and it's maybe taken too long, there is something to a person that could say, hey, Bob, why are we always doing this? Well, that's because we always did it. Well, why don't we do it this way? We can get it done twice as fast. And sometimes people might be like, never thought of that. Yeah. So he does question things. He does shake things up. And that's about the only good thing I can say about him, because that ice skating rink that they spent 7 years on and wasted a whole bunch of your money, well, maybe not yours, because New York, our people's money, he got it done in record time, like 1,000 times faster than the city and the county did. And he did it at cost. He didn't make a penny on it, but I'm sure he got $100 million worth of publicity.
He won't do anything unless he gets something.
Well, hey, but he didn't charge the taxpayers one penny, and he had celebrities. I don't know who, probably fucking Madonna, or I don't know, like Michael Jackson. He had all his celebrity friends, and and what they're getting publicity too. Everybody's getting publicity, and the city and the county. You could Google this. I'm not making this up. They literally stopped going to the press events, because imagine you were with the city. Let's say your name was Tom Jones. Hey, Tom, is it true that you spent 7 years doing nothing, and this guy over here, Trump, got this done in, I think it was 3 to 6 months? You spent $50 million of our money. He spent $3 million. You couldn't get it to make ice. He had to gut everything you did. Like, how do you explain that, Tom? Like, how do you explain that?
Right.
There is no explanation for that. So I can't know. Let's think of anything else good he did. I can't think of anything. No. But he did do that.
He did lose. That's good.
So I want to buy this. I want to buy this from you. But then how are you going to carry your 2x4s?
There's one for sale. Actually, I don't think it's a 4x4 though. But there's one for sale on that auto store by Valero. That auto. It's on the side. It used to be in a mechanics lot on Front Street, but the front deck closed down. Now it's in that.
I got a friend of mine who does emergency water removal in Youngstown.
The only thing you got to watch out for, being in an ambulance, you can't have your company signage on there, because it's insured in Ohio as an ambulance, and it's all kinds of red tape. Since my insurance guy is doing it as a box truck because I have liability, that's the only way I was able to do it. But if I try to get full coverage, insurance would be outrageous. And then you put signage on there, ODOT gets you. You have to have records. You have to have...
Because they're thinking you're an ambulance. Well, I bought an old school bus, and when I bought it, it was kind of like a party bus. Yeah. And it had the perimeter seats where everybody's facing each other. And when I did some research of how I can title it, and you can get away with calling it an RV, you're technically supposed to have a way to cook food. You're supposed to at least have like a cooler or a little microwave. I do not, but how many police officers really know that? Yeah. But in any event, because getting it as an RV, the insurance is like next to nothing. The everything, the license, everything is like practically free compared to what it would be doing it as a what's that? As a commercial vehicle. Now, here's what I found out about that. What you said reminded me. I can paint that thing any color I want as long as it's not yellow.
Yeah,
It cannot be a yellow school bus, because then they
Before I
probably
got
think
this-
you're going around trying to pick up young kids or
Yeah,
something.
before I got this, I would ask the city, if I could get, if I could leave the signage and stickers, because I didn't want to take all this crap off if I didn't have to. I started in the back. They said, we don't care, just don't use it.
Well, what signage?
Well, I mean, it had the words and stuff.
Oh,
It had medical transport.
So
and
you
all
could
that.
have left that on there.
Yeah, I could have left anything. This could be the collector vehicle. I could have had, Mayberry RFD I put on it or something. And,
Wow.
they don't care. As long as I don't use it as a, crash lights with my lights on.
Hey, if I ever get in a car accident, I'll jump in this thing. You can probably because the lights work.
Yeah.
And put the lights on. You can probably get me to the
siren, everything.
You can get me to the hospital in a jiffy. But if you pulled up with the,
I know. Yep,
what's the old thing they say like?
it's a zombie vehicle now.
I've heard some comedian saying something. Yeah, I see that. Oh my God! Holy crap!
Exhaust tips.
Where'd you get that?
Online.
Oh my God! You bought that online? It just screws on or welds on or?
It's functioning exhaust tips.
Oh, it's a tip. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, some comedian was saying, like, oh, police officer, like, you get, oh, hey, officer, yeah, no, here's my license, whatever you do, just please, just don't look in the trunk, I don't want you to see any of those dead bodies that have in the trunk.
Yeah.
Here, you got it plastered.
I warned people, so it was good.
Well, hey, I mean, actually, what that reminds me of? My friend Mike was telling me that he was on a Spirit or maybe it's Frontier, whatever it was. There is if you're in the very front seat, very first seat, like as soon as you walk on, you make a right. That very first seat, they do have a couple seats in the front where they're wider seats, and you pay an extra, whatever it is. But at the first seat, there's a plexiglass thing that goes up. I'm not sure why, because there's a wall there. If there wasn't maybe it's a shield or whatever. Well, the guy sitting in the first seat was getting up, and the flight attendant said, "Sir, you cannot get up right now. The seatbelt, whatever. We're coming in for a land." I don't know what the deal was. He got up, and my friend Mike said, that flight attendant was almost like, "Sir," almost like pushing him down, like, "Sir, I'm telling you, you cannot get up right now." He's like, he kept saying, I have to go to the bathroom. And she's like, "Sir, you cannot use the restroom right now." Well, about, I don't know how many seconds later, projectile vomiting I heard it was coming out of his mouth like a fire hose, and it was hitting
shield?
It was hitting that shield, and it was like splattering. And that poor woman, and you know what he said? He said, I told you I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You wouldn't listen. So that if somebody that's actually not something to joke about, but I'm saying if somebody had dead bodies in there, and the officer say, "What the hell are you doing with all?" Hey, Ron, I told you, no, we're tired of hiding the dead bodies. So.
Right.
So I should get your car because I do sometimes need.
Well, I don't do site work and stuff.
Oh, really?
just like
Because
a
I do
dog.
have my commercial office. I need stuff at my house too, but we're over here off. I don't know if we're Carl Street, if you know where we're at, but it's we got a 7,500 square foot office warehouse, and I had this guy Bill. He pretty good carpenter, but he is now working at Roto-Rooter as a plumber. So he's pretty busy, and
Yeah, there would be.
he's a good carpenter. But yeah, anyway, nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
All right, if I see this, I'll say, hey, that's my buddy that I talked to. Mark.
There you go.
All right, we'll see you.
See ya.
Okay.